What's going on, homies? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I'm gonna go over what are plyometrics, why you should do plyometrics as a footballer, and then 15 of the best plyometric exercises for you to do and implement into your training right away. I wanna let you know that there are no ads. So you're not gonna have to do any skipping around here. All the exercises are gonna be in there for you. You can listen and apply right away. With that being said, since there are no ads and since I want to provide as much value to you as possible, please hit that like button, please hit the subscribe, and the only thing I ask from you is to pass this video and my channel along to friends. That's the only thing that I ask from you. Enjoy the video. So here's how it's gonna work. I'm gonna have the A roll of me coaching you through the exercises, and then I'm gonna have the B roll of me doing the exercises. So take that and apply it to your life right away. These exercises activate the quick response and the elasticity of your muscles and your tendons, so it could help you improve on the pitch. So the goal of plyometric training is to develop the maximum amount of force in the quickest amount of time possible using your tendons via the stretch shortening cycle. If we think about it, sprinting, change of direction, and jumping are the key indicators for your team to win games. So if you can improve your ability to be explosive, to be rapid, to be very strong off the ground very quickly, you will have a massive impact for your team, which will help your team get 3 points on the weekend, which will help you and your team get to the next level. The last thing that I want to clarify before we get into the exercises is plyometric training is very intense on your body and your nervous system. So if you're a beginner, make sure you start off very slowly, and as always, focus first on your technique, and then you can start to increase the volume. And lastly, if you do a lot of jumping and plyometric training with your team, please be careful of the volume you do in your individual training so you don't overload your system. As I always talk about, the most important thing for you is to be on the pitch, training with your team and playing matches with your team. If you're doing individual training and you end up getting hurt, that does you no good and will do no good for your development as a footballer. So please be smart, train hard, but also work smart. Let's get into the exercises. So the first exercise we're gonna focus on is a both-footed front and back over a stick. For this exercise, I want you to be rapid on the balls of your feet. Do not let those heels touch. As you see, we're gonna have the arms coordinating with your legs. You're gonna have a nice knee bend, and your body is gonna be nice and strong and stable in a proper position. As I always say, start off slowly, bounce up and over a line or over a stick, any kind of object. Really get your groove, get your fluidity, and then once you have it down, be rapid. Be as quick as you can on and off the ground, because like we talked about in the intro, our goal with plyometric training is to be on and off that ground as quickly as we possibly can. That's how we develop that proper elasticity and strength within the muscles and within the tendons. So the next exercise we're gonna work on are both-footed lateral hops over a stick or over a line. So the way to do this is a very similar tactic to what we did with the last exercise. You're on the balls of your feet the entire time. You do not let those heels touch, and you're just going laterally up and over a line or over a stick. As I said before, and as I always say, focus on getting your groove first. Get that fluidity, get that technique. Really feel the movement in the tendons and the lower leg muscles. As soon as you have that down, you can start to go rapidly side to side over that line. As I always say, do not speed it up until you have the technique down. Once you have the technique down, go as quickly as you possibly can up and over that line. And as always, be very rapid on and off the ground. On and off the ground. That is the key for plyometric training and developing the ultimate strength and speed and explosiveness with the training. So the next exercise we're gonna work on is very similar, but we're using one foot. So obviously a bit more stress on the body, a bit more stress on the lower leg. Same exact thing, remain on the ball of your foot the entire time, up and over a line, up and over a stick, knee bent, body is strong and stable, your center of mass is almost over your leg, and you're really being bouncy and quick up and over that line. As I said before, get your groove, get the movement down, get the fluidity, and then start to speed it up. But do not start to speed it up if you do not have the proper technique. Also, make sure your knee is directly over your foot. Do not let that knee cave in. If you let that knee cave in and you train your body to do that, I promise you, and unfortunately, that will lead to injury. That's a major risk for ACL injury if you let that knee valgus in. So really focus on proper technique, as I always say, before speeding it up. Get bouncy, work on the strength and the elasticity of that lower leg muscles and the lower leg tendons. So the last exercise we're gonna focus on for the up and over line or up and over stick is a one-footed front and back over stick. So same exact like we did with the last exercise, being bouncy on the ball of your foot, not letting that heel touch, using the strength and the elasticity of that Achilles tendon and the strength of the gastrocnemius and the soleus, the two key muscles for the calf. You're up and back over that line, being as rapid as possible on the ball of your foot, not letting that heel touch. As always, really focus on the groove and then start to speed it up. So I know a lot of you are gonna ask for the reps and sets. For the up and over line, up and over stick exercises, it really depends. So I would start with 1 to 4 sets of about 5 to 30 seconds. And that 30 seconds will include the grooving of the movement. So as I said, you groove the movement first, and then you go as rapidly and as quickly as possible. I wouldn't advise going more than 20 seconds when you're going as rapidly and quickly as possible, because you're gonna start to lose that speed. And when you start to lose speed and technique in plyometrics, there's no point. So quality is the most important thing. Quality over quantity with plyometric training. So the next exercise we're gonna focus on is a lateral bound, and we're looking to stick the landing every time we land for 2 to 3 seconds to really focus on the stability of the ankle, the knee, and the hip joint. As you see here, as we're bounding, we have one leg behind the other. We're sticking that landing, having the center of the mass of our upper body almost over our leg, really remaining with a nice knee bend, and we're using our glute stability and glute strength to stick that landing. So land on the whole foot, really be stable and absorb the force very lightly, because one of the most important things as well for plyometric training is the reduction of injury. So when you learn to absorb force properly, you will get the most value from your plyometric training. So next exercise, we're working on lateral bounding continuous. So very similar to what we just did, but we're not sticking the landing. And now here, what I want you to do is really be rapid off of that foot. The goal would be to bounce on the foot, not let the heel touch. And again, work on the elasticity of your tendons and your muscles as you get on and off that ground as quickly as possible. Don't spend too much time on the ground. Really focus on being elastic, quick, and springy off of your foot. So same exact pattern, try to jump as far as you can, but remain in proper momentum and fluidity. Make sure each jump is similar in length. Don't overdo it. Really find that fluidity, and then once you have it down, you can start to be springy. So with the lateral bounding exercises, I would go for 1 to 3 sets of about 4 to 16 total jumps on each set. Obviously, the 4 reps are for the beginners, the 16 reps are for the more advanced. If you're just getting new to plyometrics, use the low volume and focus on technique first, please. So the next exercise we're getting into is a standing bounce to a tuck jump. So we're just bouncing on the balls of our feet using the springiness of the tendon, and we're getting on and off that ground as quickly as we possibly can. So we're trying to jump high, we're trying to bring those knees to our chest, but as soon as we hit that ground, we're off. As soon as we hit that ground, we're off. As soon as we hit that ground, we're off. We're not spending any time on the ground. We're being as rapid and as quick as possible on and off the ground. Almost think of that ground being lava. You're on and you're off. You're on and you're off, being springy and fluid in your tendons. So naturally, we're moving on to more complexity. We're working a moving forward tuck jump. So as you see here, we're being springy, the same exact motion as we did in the stand to tuck jump. So that's a good way to prepare your body, to prepare your muscles, prepare your tendons and your brain. And all we're doing is we're moving forward with that tuck jump. So we're looking to get into a cycle of those legs. So we're bouncing in the forward direction, as I said before, being on and off that ground as quickly as you possibly can. Think of that ground as lava. You're on and you're off as quickly as you can. So the last of the tuck jumps, we're working a single leg tuck jump. And as I said before, we're on and off that ground as quickly as we possibly can, landing on the ball of our foot using the elasticity of the tendons. We're bringing that knee as high as we can towards the chest. And as you see, we're absorbing the force nicely and we're off. We're absorbing the force nicely and we're off. Enjoy that one. This is a very intense one. So if you're a beginner, I probably would advise not doing that. So for the tuck jumps, once again, 1 to 3 sets. And then we're working, this is a very different rep range, 2 to 10 reps. For the single leg tuck jumps, I would work for about 1 to 2 sets of about 2 to 5 reps each leg. And if you're a beginner, totally skip that. For the other ones, you can work on the higher end, like I said, 1 to 3 sets of about 4 to 10 reps total. Make sure you really focus on technique and enjoy. So the next exercise we're working is a step off box to a depth jump. So this is what we're working on, like we've been talking about the whole entire time. We're stepping off a higher box, and as soon as we hit that ground, we're being as rapid and quick as possible off that ground. This will teach us to be rapid on and off the ground. So as soon as you hit that ground, you're off. You step off lightly, boom, death jump. Step off lightly, boom, you're jumping as high as you can. So that's the goal. Step off, and then you're jumping as high as you possibly can as soon as you hit that ground. Absorb the force nicely and gently with a slight knee bend, and then you're jumping up as high as you can. So for the depth drop to box jump, it's a very similar exercise, but you're not jumping up straight away. Instead, you're jumping higher, so those knees have to get higher onto the box. So same exact thing, you're dropping off. That could be a lower platform. As soon as you hit that ground, you're bouncing on that ground, and then you're bouncing and jumping onto the box. So this is gonna work on a rapid stretch shortening cycle of those tendons. Very, very good exercise, but also very intense. So if you're a beginner, go on the lower rep range, please. So reps and sets for the depth drop to jumps on the lower range. If you're a beginner, please skip these. I would go 1 to 3 sets of about 2 to 10 reps. So next one we're working on is the dumbbell squat jump and stick the landing. Very, very important, like I talked about before, for proper injury prevention. So you're gonna get some light dumbbells. I think in this video, I was using about 10 pounds, which is about 5 kilos. I'm dropping down into a squat. I'm jumping as high as I can, and then I'm absorbing that force, really absorbing it nicely. Focus on the knees pointing forward and really dropping into a proper landing and squat position. So you're gonna reload this one each and every time. So you're not going to use momentum. You're not doing counter movement jumps. Instead, this is a non-counter movement jump. So it's gonna work on your acceleration because it works on the ability for you to start almost off a dead stop. Yeah, obviously you're propelling down a little bit with your squat, but most of it, you're trying to jump as high as you can without momentum, and you're sticking the landing. So naturally after that, we're working dumbbell repeated squat jumps. So as you see here, very different to the last exercise, but similar movement. We're bouncing on our toes, the balls of our feet the entire time, and we're not letting the heel touch. So similar movement, but we're not sticking the landing. So we are using the counter movement of the jump. As soon as we land, we're off. As soon as we land, we're off. Just like we talked about in the depth drops, we want to be on and off that ground as quickly as we possibly can, envisioning like that ground is lava. As I said before, use light dumbbells. I was using about 10 pounds here. So do the same exact thing. Work on and off that ground as quickly and rapidly as possible. So So the next exercise we're gonna talk about are explosive lunge jumps. So as you see within this exercise, we are gonna have to be very, very explosive off that front leg. So as you see, each time you hit that ground, you wanna be up and off that leg as quickly as you possibly can. Once again, there's another advanced plyometric move, very tough on the body. You have to absorb the force, be on and off that ground as quickly as possible. As you see, that back leg is also slightly leaving the ground, and you see it has to have a nice knee bend in it as well. As always, try to coordinate those arms with the legs. Try to drive that knee up high towards your chest. Land softly, repeat. Land softly, repeat. For this exercise, if you're not an advanced athlete and you haven't been doing plyometrics and a lot of strength training, I would stay away. But if you are advanced, I would go for about 1 to 4 sets of about 2 to 5 reps on each leg, because like I said in the beginning, most important thing with plyometrics is quality over quantity. So the last exercise of the day, we're gonna talk about explosive lunge switches. I really love this exercise. I even like to do this for a couple reps before I get into team training or before I get into a game. Obviously, the reps are lower when I'm trying to activate rather than train. So here we're working on explosive lunge switches. As you see, the main goal here is to drive that knee forward as explosively and rapidly as possible while you coordinate your arms with your legs. As you see here, you wanna be on the balls of your feet the entire time, trying to have those heels off, and you're trying to explosively switch those legs as quickly as you possibly can. So those hips need to be very, very rapid and very, very mobile to do this. So be as rapid and as quick as possible through this entire movement. For the reps and sets here, I would go for 1 to 4 sets of about 4 to 20 total reps, focusing on quality. I care more about quality than volume. Focus on speed, technique, and quality when it comes to plyos. So ladies and gents, to wrap up the video, thank you so much for being here. As I said multiple times throughout the video, when working on plyometrics, quality matters more than quantity. I would rather you do 2 sets rather than 4 sets. 2 sets of high quality and maximum intent rather than 4 sets. So on every exercise, focus on quality, maximum intensity, and maximum intent. Maximum intent means you're giving 100% effort, focus, and concentration to each and every exercise. And when you do that with quality, repeatedly, consistently, you will reach your goals of becoming faster, stronger, more explosive for football, to improve your performance on the pitch, because that's why we do plyos. We do plyos to improve performance on the pitch. And one more thing I want to note, if you are a younger athlete, please make sure your volume is a bit lower. So if you're on the beginner scale, make the volume a bit lower. If you're intermediate, make it a little higher. And if you're advanced, you can make it much higher. But please consider team training load, game load, and individual training load with the ball when you're focusing on plyos. So sometimes, actually most of the time with plyos, less is more. So I want you to focus on quality, and then remember, less is more. Quality matters more than volume. If you enjoyed this video and it brought you value, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bells, and then please do me a favor and recommend this video to teammates, to friends, and family. As you see, I did not run any ads on this video. I will not be sponsored by anyone because I want to be transparent and I only use products and things that I trust. I've been asked multiple times, can you sponsor this? You can make a lot of money here, you can make a lot of money there. No, I don't want to, because if I'm not using it myself, I'm not gonna promote it to you guys. So, hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, like, subscribe, pass along to friends, and keep supporting. That's all I ask. Have a great rest of the day, stay safe, stay healthy, keep improving your performance. Deuces.